Welcome to the Success Partner Podcast. I'm Daya Naef, your host and founder of The Success Partner. On this show, we dive into the stories of attorneys, business professionals, and entrepreneurs who have navigated the ups and downs of building successful careers and businesses. From the strategies they've implemented to the challenges they've overcome, we're here to uncover the insights that can help you on your own journey to success. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Welcome back, everybody, to the Success Partner Podcast. I am your host, Daya Naef, and today I'm so excited to have Rachel Platt of Plattinum HR Consulting joining me today. She is a real rock star in leadership and people strategy, and I'm super excited to learn more from her by finding out what she does, and really we can hone in and get some great tips and feedback on our people strategy. So Rachel, just introduce yourself and tell us some stuff about you.
Thank you so much for having me. It is a pleasure to be here. I'm Rachel Platt. I am the CEO of Platinum HR Consulting. We work with professional services firms, commercial businesses, and not-for-profits, really working with the organizations and the leaders that are or are aspiring to move beyond the day-to-day of HR and compliance and really think strategically about their people initiatives and how they're going to attract, how they're going to grow future leaders, how they assess their team, how they identify and reward their stars, and how maybe they help folks who probably are not going to go the distance in the journey with them onto their next biggest and best thing. And working with organizations that really care and about the people and the impact that those people have on society, the economy, their clients. That's what we do. And it's amazing every day to work with inspiring leaders who want to have an impact and frankly recall that at the end of their life, most people are not thinking about, I did this deal or I signed that, but they're thinking about, who did I help? Who did I grow? Who am I proud to have known in my life? Mm-hmm. And that's the intersection of where we were.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, almost everyone I talk to is more talking about impact and value and what did I create in my work life that really moved things forward. And, we've had the emergence of B Corps and things where people have very much social and environmental considerations for where they work. What do you do though when there's some pushback on that? We just want to hit the numbers. What's a good tip for you?
So to be totally honest, Daya, those aren't normally my people.
Good.
I am lucky enough to be in a place where there are some amazingly talented HR professionals who are very focused on the day-to-day and are exceptionally talented at it. But that's not what we do. And so I'm happy to refer those people who is a better fit for them. But to really answer the question, I'm not saying that these things come to the negative of your bottom line, of productivity, of whatever key metrics are important to a leader's organization. Absolutely not. What I'm saying is, how do you find the way to maximize and really accelerate getting to those metrics through your people strategies? How do you not just do what is necessary, but really empower your people? How do you reframe challenges as opportunities, not to be Pollyanna, but to be real? And how is resiliency a skill? Those are the things that help organizations exceed their numbers. Mm-hmm. When I have a leader that is so focused on the numbers, I talk to them about what's it going to take to blow those numbers out, and what do your people need to do? What do you need them to do? And how are we going to get them there? How are they going to see your vision? And sometimes I've been accused of being a little Pollyanna, but I think taking a positive approach has a much, much more impact overall. People don't work when they're scared. They work when they work when they feel that they have a support system. Is that your experience also?
True. Yeah. I mean, it's certainly a much better way of working, having everyone buy in on the vision and the team. And like you mentioned, like rehoming those people if they're not going to be part of the team. And it's not anything bad or wrong. It's just maybe not a good cultural fit or not right for them in their phase of life or what their goals are and that kind of thing. And just being able to have those candid conversations and know when you need to like reshuffle the deck a little bit and get everybody on board.
Those candid conversations. It's funny. I had a client yesterday that I often say to them, clarity is kind. Being crystal clear with somebody is kind. And somebody else in the meeting was like, oh, clarity in the workplace is sexy. And I was like, we're going to bring sexy back.
Cue music.
Yeah, right. Clarity. Clarity is kind, going in both directions. Having those candid, crucial conversations makes all the difference for someone to understand what the vision is and how that vision aligns or doesn't align with where they are in their life or what their values are. And that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Good to set expectations and having people work as a team. I think even in the most sterile of organizations or most independent contributor based organizations, still having that community and that getting on the same page is critical.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So what types of industries do you prefer to work with?
So I spent 10 years in professional services and another 3 years supporting professional service firms with international talent augmentation. And so I do a lot with professional services firms, big and small. I also work with not-for-profits, a random array of other businesses, because good leaders and organizations that truly want to have an impact and put their people strategy on par with meeting their strategic objectives can come in all shapes and sizes in all industries. But I have a special place in my heart for law firms and accounting firms and other professional services firms.
Yeah, same here. So what's a good success story for you?
There are so many. One that comes to mind right now is an organization, is a professional services firm that was really struggling with retention. They were able to attract great people, but they were losing them out the back door. And part of that really had to do with the fact that some of the firm leaders were older and they had worked crazy hours without much work-life balance, without some of the flexibility that the younger generations are expecting today. And, it became a little bit of one of these situations of I had to push the boulder uphill in the snow, barefoot, both ways. So therefore, you're going to have to do it. And the reality is working with this organization to understand what their people were looking for and how to develop leaders, people managers that understood what it took to get the job done. It's not about lowering standards. It's not about saying people aren't going to work hard, but it is about where can we give and take and what strategies can we put together? What can we pilot? Because sometimes in some professional services firms, especially, we pilot things and then we show the data of how and why this was successful. And even the naysayers turn themselves around because the data is there. And so being data driven, showing how in this particular client, return to the office did not make sense on a 5-day schedule. But yes, we still had to figure out how are we going to train up our newest associates. That can't happen by osmosis. That has to happen working together. And so we put together a really robust strategy and the data proved it. And I guess one of the greatest things for me was when the managing partner actually told me, I thought you were crazy and I thought you were going to ruin my business. And in fact, his turnover went down by double-digit percentages. So I kind of wanted him to skywrite it to be like, she was right.
Uh-huh.
But I'll take a whisper of, I learned something. Yeah. And so that's a success story. That's one that I really, really value.
Yeah, that's a true testament. Like you got them to innovate, you got them to look into culture and things and saying, "Hey, all right, we're gonna let you go with it for a minute and see what happens." And then you were able to, prove it. And I think time and time again, this strategy works. It's just a little bit of um, force feeding, I guess, or hand holding or massaging.
Say, we're going to help you experience the value of this people strategy.
There you go. That's a much more comfortable way of saying it.
Saying, come on, everybody's doing it. Let's not stick our heads in the sand and say, we're not going away.
Yeah, I mean, and try it. Let's just give it a good run and try it. And it's not irreparable or reversible. You can always go back to your set in the ways of whatever you want to do, and we'll call it a day. But let's try it and see if we know it works. But we'll see if it works.
One of my absolute favorite sayings. I don't know who originated it, but I have a friend who taught me it, and so I quote Marty Brown on this all the time, even though she did not originate it. We reserve the right to get smarter. Mm-hmm. We have the ability to learn new things and do better. And so we reserve the right to get smarter. If I try something today and it doesn't work, okay, we can iterate on it or we can go backwards. Thankfully, I'm not a surgeon. Nobody is dying on my watch in a law firm or an accounting firm or a not-for-profit because we tried something that we thought was going to be customizable and really work for this organization. And if they find that it didn't, then we can fix it. Usually though, Daya, they don't go back. Yeah. They don't go back.
They don't go back.
But they can. So people feel comfortable. We bring them along however we need to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we talked a few minutes before the show about like AI innovation and technology and strategy. What's a good insight on that for you?
Within the people strategy space, I mean, there is so much about the ethics of AI and how it impacts thought leaders and artists and et cetera, et cetera. Let's put that aside for a minute. Let's also put aside the environmental pieces for a minute. But from a true work standpoint, the human brain is the most amazing machine that is out there. But utilizing AI in a responsible way within the workplace allows us to use our human brains at a much higher level. And so if I don't waste 20 minutes thinking about what should I talk about, with this individual, what guidance should I give them? And I ask a quick question and it gives me 4 ideas and I look at number 1 and I'm like, oh yeah. And now I'm going to riff on number 1. The rest of them, all it did is it's a thought generator. And if you use it in that way, big firms, small firms, law firms, every kind of business and every kind of employee, you shouldn't have to recreate the wheel. And if we think about AI in that way, I think it's an amazing tool. We just need to be thoughtful. And I am very concerned and doing a lot of work. I'm not doing work, I'm doing research and reading because I'm curious about the bias that can be in AI and how we avoid that within the HR and people and culture space. But I think there is tremendous value for us as employees and as employers. And we just need to figure out the right way to harness it. It will make us more productive. It will elevate the work when truly the rote tasks can be automated for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And it is needing guidance and needing ethical constraints, and people do need to start adopting it and get on board with it. And of course, turning to you or me or someone who's a trusted advisor to get them on the right path and not be overwhelmed or completely like biased and don't feel like doing it or wanting to do it. Anyway, last but not least, I know you have a dog. So tell us about your puppy.
So, little side story. I have a mini Labradoodle. His name is Wrigley. My husband is a diehard Cubs fan. He is from Chicago, and thankfully, I don't know how much you know about the Cubs, probably
A
nothing.
little, a little.
Okay, so originally we also have two sons who, as much as my hairy dog, my hairy son, as my kids call him, sometimes is the favorite. At least I did not need to name my two sons Kirk and Addison, which is the corner of where Wrigley Field is. So we just have Wrigley to remind us every day of the Cubs winning the World Series in 2016. And
I love it.
he is my best coworker when I'm working from home.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. And Addison and what was it, Clark? That wouldn't be too bad.
I agree. Actually, for a moment in time, thought naming a child Michael Jordan was a good idea. And it was not. It was not.
It was not. Glad we passed on that. Yeah, I'm glad we
I'm a dog mom. Yes.
Good. I absolutely love that. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. Thank you again. This has been Rachel Platt, and I will have her contact information in the show notes. Thank you again for listening to the Success Partner podcast, and stay tuned. There will be more.
You're amazing, Daya. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us on the Success Partner podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation and found some valuable takeaways to apply to your own business journey. Remember, this show is brought to you by The Success Partner, where we help small law firms and business owners achieve unparalleled success through strategic guidance, operational excellence, and effective marketing. If you're ready to take your business to the next level, visit thesuccesspartner.net to learn more. Until next time, keep striving for success, and I will see you in the next episode.